I want to do a quick video today to share some quick thought that I had this week. For those who just jump into this YouTube channel, I'm an artist and filmmaker who is basically just recording stream of thoughts in the process of getting things done, artistically, intellectually, etc. So I was in the beginning of autumn trying to turn some short story I wrote into script, aiming to later turn them into short movies. And I'm not new to this process, but it is of course a process that requires much more money and people than just writing alone. Therefore, it is a process that also requires more money. Okay. Capital, etc. And I met a few people in Berlin which were happy to help me turn that short script into turn that short text into a script and a treatment, and then eventually get more money or talk to production companies, etc. And yeah, so anyway, I prepared some files, contacted some funding, applied for this Culture Move Europe funding, which is a small fund that I think every European person should look into if they have like a small project and they want to travel for executing it. And yeah, I got it. It's small money, but I got it, which is good, meaning that I can, start working with the people that I met and that I wanted to work with. And when I got the email, I think I was PMSing and I was also a little bit tipsy. I was on my bike and I had to shed a small tear, and I had to perform some kind of like Nobel Prize / Oscar thank you speech to the world, which is silly, because like the amount of money I got is just not enough to make anything happen really. But anyway, and I think I like to do that sometimes. I like to think that every small step towards getting a project done should be celebrated like it's the biggest reward, because that's also a way to really congratulate yourself in the process of getting things done. And I think that's very important. And I think it's not only important because you need to be, content and celebrate the small steps, but also because I tend to imagine sometimes, and I would be curious to know or to talk about it with people who are like really, really successful or famous. But I think sometimes that like being proud of yourself doesn't really have a scale. I sometimes imagine that like when you read your first text out loud, if there's 5 people in the room or if there's like 1,000, the feeling is the same. I imagine that publishing the first book or the 20th book feels the same. And I also imagine sometimes that whether you show your first movie to your friend group and you're anxious about it or proud about it, or whether you show it to 1,000 people in a room, feels the same. Maybe it doesn't. And maybe, it's just like always more responsibility, more stress, etc. So that's like something to consider. But I think perceiving the upcoming challenges and opportunities that way for me really brings like calm, and also makes me really humble, because I think that the bigger the project, the more elaborate the project, the more capital invested, quite often the more stressful it becomes. Which, stressful is great. It can be great fuel for things, but I also tend to think that perhaps every small step and every scale of project making has its own, let's say, pros and cons, and there's no such thing as comparing. But this is why I really imagine that being proud and almost performing, success for yourself, as I was, on my bike giving a thank you speech to all the people I love. It's just a very silly and yet cute way to celebrate yourself along the way of whatever you want to do. And yeah, because the truth is that it's never enough anyway, it's never enough most of the time, the compensation you get for the things you're passionate about. So to really be able to, take a shot at every occasion that, a small stone has been paved and been, elevated for you to do something more about your project, I think is a great strategy. I'm not gonna recite the speech I gave. I don't even remember what I said on my bike. But it was definitely something along the lines of feeling very grateful for the people that just trust me with the things I want to do, and also how important it is to be with people who really trust you and are inspired by you, and that inspires you back. Because really, and I know I've said that 1,000 times already in those videos, but damn, if it wasn't for the amazing and inspiring people that I'm meeting and for, the friendships that I have, this would be 1,000 times more difficult. Anyway, more updates soon on books, short stories, whatever. I'm considering whether or not I want to stay longer where I am at the moment. Still applying for PhDs. I'm in contact with quite some supervisors. Just chit-chatting, talking, seeing what's possible. Getting a supervisor for a PhD and trying to get some scholarship is a very interesting mating game. It's you really have to find the right match. You have to also find the right institution that would want to host you both, and then you have to it's interesting, but that's a totally different conversation. Okay, good luck, and don't forget to celebrate the small steps.